Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Tuesday. So I'm going to give you my best baits in the month of March, but really the philosophy behind March fishing is that bass are about to move up to spawn. How do you get them to bite a week before they spawn, a couple days before they spawn, because they're moving shallow. So all those shallow baits are going to play, but what are the best baits and what are the best baits for this time of year? So I was just in a tournament on Lake Chickamauga on Saturday, and the live scope thing did not dominate. Why I think that happened was because we had a lot of sunshine, which is great for shallow fishing when you have cold water. And those bass, instead of staying up in the water column feeding on bait, they're going to the bank. They're feeding on brim, they're feeding on crawfish, they're still feeding on shad. Basically, they're feeding on everything that they can eat, but they're not so much worried about staying out in the main river channel or the creek channels suspended. They're coming to the bank. So my electronics are really simple, and you can get all these electronics combined for under $1,000. So I run a Lowrance Elite 5 DSI on the front. This is going to show me what exactly is going on the bottom of the lake. And I run a Lowrance 7 right here at the console. Now what's really cool about this unit and how I have it mounted is I can now, once I get to my fishing spot, I can turn it. So with one hand, I can turn it and now look at it while I'm up on the trolling motor controlling the boat. So I have mapping back there. I use a Navionics chip. It's very accurate, like crazy how good it is. Everywhere that I'm going, this is telling me the depth, what's on the bottom of the lake, brush, rock. I can see all that through this unit, and then I'm looking at the 7 to know exactly the contours that I'm on. Drains, points, bars, channel swing banks, creek channels, all that stuff is telling me basically what I want to fish. And I fish a lot of nothing banks because everyone knows how much fishing pressure is on the lake these days. So those banks that don't necessarily look so good, fish have gravitated to them by how many people fish the good looking stuff. The obvious stuff that is on all those mapping chips pushes those fish off over to the nothing bank. So here are my favorite baits for the month of March without the fancy electronics. Now, you got to have a chatterbait. I mean, if that's going to be one bait that I fish is a chatterbait, I like Z-Man, I like the Thunder Cricket. So I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, and I think they're all good. I like a 3/8 ounce Thunder Cricket, and I like a 1/2 ounce chatterbait Evo. I don't like spending $15 or more on a bait. So that's where I'm going when I am heading to the bank. My flatter type cover is great for a chatterbait. It's great for a lipless crankbait. When I get on a little bit steeper stuff that has rock, it's all about cranking for me. So all your square bills, this is when they're going to play. So when you have fish that are just getting to the bank, it's all about baits that vibrate, shimmy, move, give off that sonic pulse. Rock is really good. Stumps are really good. Any type of wood you can find in the water. That is what I consider pre-spawn cover. Now, if you have grass in your lake, grass is going to be something that I'm probably going to fish before I fish all those other types of cover. Now, once I get really dirt shallow and we have really warm weather, those fish have just bypassed all the pre-spawn type cover in places and have gone straight to the bank. That's when you can pick up crazy baits like a buzzbait. Pink one is a really good one that no one throws. A frog, put some rattles in it. Sneaky March time baits, but before you do these crazy baits like a frog and a buzzbait, to me it's all about the chatterbait and the square bill. And then if we get a little bit further, so if you have unseasonably warm weather, this is what is going to cause bass to bypass the pre-spawn type places and go right to the shallow stuff. That's where the jig comes in. You're going to have a jig bite for a day or two before they start spawning. This is all going to happen, in a week's time. Then it comes to the soft plastic Texas rigs, the Cinco type stuff, wacky rig and all that. That's when they're locked on the bed. And that can all happen. If you have a week of 80-degree weather, even if it is in the month of March, those fish are going to spawn. If you have these 50-degree nights, it cools off a little bit, you're getting 65 degrees during the day, those fish are still going to stay pre-spawn. That's where your square bills, your chatterbaits, all of that's going to play. And as we further along, like another week or two, they're going to get on that jig. They're going to try to get on wood right before they spawn. That's all like a day or two, then they're spawning. So that's what we're gonna see in the next month, depending on how warm the weather is, but you can already see there's buds on the trees. We are getting into springtime. It's gonna be 70 degrees today. I've been fishing in 40-degree weather for the last month, so I mean, I'm so glad to see some highs in the 70s, some warm nights. More and more fish are gonna come shallow. Your lakes are all gonna explode. Best time of year to be on the water. I was on Guntersville for a little bit today, and it's a madhouse out there. So don't get any fights or arguments with anybody that are pulling into your spots, but it's springtime fishing. Good luck to you guys, and I'll see you on the water.